Dan Repay left on an issue that is, I know you guys are concerned about is Munster having flooded in 2008. The guy calls him from Crown Point, and he basically says he doesn't want to pay for the Little Calumet River maintenance. How do you feel about that, Doctor?
Well, that's, his logic, I cannot I understand what he's actually talking about in regards to his logic. He's so far away that he doesn't feel that, they need to actually support taking care of that river. But the bottom line is that if you actually look at the maps, anybody that's in that watershed, and if you pour a glass of water off of your property, it flows towards it. You should be paying for it. The bottom line is if we don't take care of it, at some point it's going to affect you. And it's like one of the things that you mentioned to him is that, all right, if you're not paying for this, how about if someone says, well, you know what, where's your water going to go, your wastewater or everything else, where's it going to go? Where are you going to send that water to? Someone can turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to start charging you for some other things that you're assuming you get for granted. So, I mean, I believe that we should be pitching into this. It's the only thing out there right now. If something actually is altered, meaning that down the road, if this isn't working the way it should be, yeah, we should band together and say, you know what, this really isn't working. These numbers are not right. We can modify that, but we got to get maintenance into this.
Dr. Kulturitis, you grew up in the harbor. You live in Munster now.
Right.
And, you have offices elsewhere around and so forth, and you go to the county. You drive it all the time. So you know that everybody's kind of got their own interests at heart, and we're a lot of little different communities. You really think we can come together as an area to finally get this thing funded?
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, if it doesn't go through this year, I'm going to be a little disheartened. Bottom line is that I think we've got a group of officials up here that are willing to unify themselves to try and get something done. If this doesn't happen this year, I don't know when it's ever going to happen. This is a pretty simple thing that needs to be done. They all know it needs to be done. Let's nip it in the bud and let's move forward.
Councilman Nellums.
Well, I definitely support House Bill 1264. We definitely need to get all the communities together. I understand that everyone likes to say, well, am I going to get a direct benefit for it? In the big picture, yes, we all contribute across the state to projects that maybe Northwest Indiana didn't realize a huge benefit out of having the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, but we all contributed towards that. We all contribute to having Indianapolis be a strong capital. We all need to contribute towards the Little Calumet River being a strong avenue to take all the stormwater out of northwest Indiana and flow it properly and not have people's houses flooded. I mean, we had extreme flooding in Munster, but it's not just a Munster issue. I sat there the first night when we had the flood, and there's some 40 communities got on the phone and reported all the damage and all the problems they had after in 2008. It was horrible, just horrible, and I really don't want to see that repeated again. I want to have some legislation put in place. As it is now, Dan is right. He is just using, because I go to all the meetings of Little Calumet River, he's just using baling wire and bubble gum and duct tape to try to hold this thing together. And there's sections of the river that are over 30 years old that need to have massive rehabilitation done to it so that the water keeps flowing and doesn't break out into the neighborhoods. And without some kind of funding, it's just going to get worse. We're going to lose the whole battle. And what was the point in the first place to do all this work? It was to make it better for our residents, to make it better for all the communities and all the neighborhoods. And I really applaud Mayor McDermott for coming forward and supporting this and driving this and helping make this happen. While it's been expanded, and I think we need to be looking at all the communities are going to have opportunity to name representatives. All the communities are going to have the opportunity to put technical representatives on, and it's going to be a bigger, larger, broad view of what's going to happen with this river.
How does it make you feel that, just in the last 48 hours, really, it's kind of coming out, and an article shows up in the paper today that there's actually some doubts about this going forward in the Senate?
Well, that certainly concerns me because we all should be pulling together. And again, it's not just for one community, it's for all of our communities to make it better for everyone. Is this politics as usual and trying to put together some sort of a program? I don't know. I haven't heard any of the details or any of the specifics, but it does concern me that maybe we're all not pulling together and having the same view to help everyone.